Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie.
Yeah.
All right, before we start this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, if you are new to the channel here, please make sure that you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and please hit the notification bell as well. If you like the show and you enjoy the show, please share it with your friends, because this is how we get the stagecoach across America. I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad you're watching the show. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today, we are back outside of Dallas, and we have us, I don't want to say a repeat offender.
Repeat offender, might as well. Why not?
We have with us,
Sounds good.
we have with us Chris Dover from CloverTac. Clover, thank you so much for being on the show again.
He says that, but I had to provide my own vehicle. So
Look,
it's like this,
you know, when you're...
really?
Yeah, I am honored that people trust me with their cars.
Well, technically, this is my wife's car, so it's pretty easy for me to trust you with my wife's car.
Right. Is the insurance paid?
Just don't tell her we put it in sport mode.
Yes, she doesn't watch the show, does she?
But sport mode is pretty cool.
Oh man. Yeah. I'm a lucky guy that I get people that let me borrow their cars, because sometimes it's a pain in the neck to rent cars.
It's expensive. I can tell you that much.
It's that as well. Now I'm one of these guys that I cannot say I'm debt free, because I do have debt, but I don't have a credit card. I'm one of those guys.
Yeah, I don't either. Debit cards.
So yeah,
but
so
not credit cards. Yeah.
Exactly.
So there's got to be money there.
Yeah, but when you go to rent a car, they want to take extra money, which of course is a little BS.
And the insurance is ridiculous.
The insurance is ridiculous.
The last time I rented one, the insurance was as much as the car rental fee.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, that's nuts.
On like a $5,000 little Nissan something.
That's ridiculous.
You know what I mean? It's not like I was some posh Mercedes.
Right. Well, I had to. I was in San Diego this summer at the gun prom, the San Diego County gun owners.
Oh,
and
that sounds fancy.
It was pretty fancy. We had to dress up. No t-shirts with cartoon guys on it and stuff.
I done forgot. You know, Little Binkus told me who this was. If you know out there, put it in the comment below. I don't remember. My grandbabies tell me all the time, oh, the shirt with twinkle toes, or I don't remember what they call it, but apparently it's got a name. So, but I don't know what it is. I can't remember.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my game plan was to I got out to California. I was there with John Petrolino. We went to gun prom together. I was his +1.
Nice.
Which sounds really ridiculous.
Nice. Well, that's progressive of you.
Right. We were going to California.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty.
So anyway, John had a rental car, and I used his rental car, and then I was going to get a rental car myself, and I was going to drive myself from Anaheim back to San Diego to the airport. And I couldn't get a rental car because I had a debit card. They wouldn't give me one because I was out of state. And
really?
Yes. So I'm like, well, looks like I'm Ubering for an hour and a half.
Ooh, that sucks.
But here's the thing. The Uber for an hour and a half was the same price as the car rental, minus the gas.
Really?
Yes, and gas in California at the time was about $6 a gallon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you know, what was it, 2019? So I got upgraded in 2019 at GRPC when we did the short ride.
We did the short ride. Not on the short bus.
Yeah, not on the short bus. But anyway, I got upgraded to a posh, like, Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited supercharger, all the fancy bells and whistles.
Nice.
Right? And so that's what I got aggravated at, is because 2019 we did that. 2020, I'm trying to think. 2021 SHOT Show is the one that didn't happen, right? So 2020.
No. Yeah, 2021 didn't happen.
So 2020, I guess it was then, SHOT Show. We literally got a Nissan Versa, dude, which is like the cheapest Nissan.
Yeah,
I thought the Sentra was the cheapest.
It's a little bigger than a smart car.
It's like cheaper than the Sentra.
Yes.
It's a go-kart, let's be honest, right? Or a golf cart. And it blew me away because literally the insurance was the same price and I asked him, I said, how is the insurance the same price on a Nissan Versa? The insurance is to replace the car if I wreck it. Keep that in mind. How's it the same price? Y'all need a different insurance company.
Right.
Because that makes no sense.
I think the insurance is kind of bunk. I got a friend that's in insurance, and
I'm sorry.
He's a good friend. But I remember when I was in high school, back in the 1900s,
Let that all go. You're going to make me feel old. Keep up.
I think I'm older than you.
Probably a little bit.
Thanks, man. Anyway, so we had a social studies teacher, I guess it was, that said that life insurance is, he says life insurance is a gamble because you're betting that you're going to die within a certain period and you give them money in case you do. And if you do die, then they give your family, this, whatever the life insurance policy was for.
Right.
So he says, but if you don't, right, hopefully. But he says, if you don't die, then you don't get your money back.
Right.
You're out that money.
Term life insurance.
Yes.
Yes.
And so, the same sort of thing with car insurance. They bet you're not going to get into a car wreck. You bet you are going to get into a car wreck, but you hope not to. And I told my buddy that's in insurance, I'm like, dude, I think you have a gambling problem, I think is what it is. Because I went to put up a sign to teach some gun classes in front of his business. And he's like, hey, you should get an insurance policy in case that thing flies around and goes out in the middle of the street. I'm like, what? Are you serious?
Nice.
He's like, it could happen. I'm like, oh my God. Like, this is crazy talk, man.
Yeah. It's a racket.
It is.
I'm lucky when it comes to car insurance. I have the same company since I got my driver's license. I've been with the same company. And I'll tell you the cool thing about it is the loyalty when you've been with them that long.
Yeah.
Like, you get amazing rates at some point. Now, being young, they're going to hit you heavy regardless. Like, guys, what is it, 25 is the
25
or something?
Right.
But like for girls, it's like 21 or 22 or something, I think.
Some of the girls aren't crazy.
I see more women. No offense, ladies. I'm not
crazy drivers.
I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm just saying statistically, women have more car accidents. So
shocking.
But yet they pay less insurance. But anyway, we're getting off track.
We are getting off track. Let's talk about you and gun stuff.
Yeah.
So what? You have like one of the most active YouTube channels.
Well, I try to.
You're always putting content out, and you're always like one of the things that I don't get with your channel is you're always shooting new guns, and you got different guns, and you got all sorts of stuff.
I live in Texas, man.
But it still takes money. It takes money to buy these.
Well, I don't buy them all. I have good relationships with companies, first of all.
All right, that helps.
Like Trailblazer Firearm. I'm actually carrying the live card in my pocket right now.
Nice.
And it's going rattle, rattle, rattle because the 3 rounds and the grip on it. So I know that, but nobody else can tell. But when I walk, I hear the rounds rattling.
Is it supposed to be that way?
Yeah, it's got a little compartment in the grip that slides open, and you put 3 extra rounds in the grip.
Gotcha.
And so the grip is it's not like ergonomically designed to hold them. There's a little bit of room. So
gotcha. Now see, I had some people say to me, they're like, why don't you stop doing interviews and why don't you do gun reviews? And I'm like,
right.
That's the ultimate thing.
Right.
Like my attitude towards a gun show. My attitude towards a gun show is very much like my attitude about going to a strip joint. There's lots of things I'd like to put my hands on, and nothing I'm going home with. Nothing I'm going home with, right?
Right. Yeah. No.
So, when I've been this way since I started becoming a gun guy. I get these magazines and I'm like, oh, that looks like a really cool gun. I can't afford it. Oh, that looks like a really cool gun. It's not Massachusetts compliant. I can't own this. Like, this is stuff that I'm not going to have. These are things that that aren't in my area of interest. Not that I'm, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not, not that I'm not interested.
I've seen you shoot some really footish stuff before.
Oh, thanks, man.
Riding shotgun with Charlie. Shotgun. Like, it's in the name.
It's
like, come on.
Right.
And I've seen you bird hunt and do things.
I have. With a shotgun. I carry a revolver.
Exactly.
So this is great. So,
yeah.
Right. So we're at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and one of the questions they were asking, they did some panels to get to know people a little bit more. And they asked everyone, 9 or 45, 9 or 45, 9 or 45. They get to me, and they're like, 38 special.
Right.
And they're like, that's not the question.
38 super, man. Come on.
There's
38 special. There's nothing wrong with 38 special. I've got a 38 special revolver in my EDC lineup, so
nice.
Nothing wrong with it. It has been doing the job for many, 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 many years.
There you go.
What, a century, honestly.
Right.
It's got to be at this point.
Yeah. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the
relationship,
the 2A, the industry. Yeah, I mean, there's folks like yourself that tend to gravitate more toward the 2A and the conversation side of things, and then there's the straight up gun tubers. Those are the big guys, though, right? I'm not going to mention any names because honestly I don't like most of them, but they just straight up talk about the guns, right? Talk about the firearms. Me, and this from the intro to the podcast that's been around forever, is bringing together the industry and the community. I like things like GRPC. I like the conversations. I like talking with the movers and the shakers that are activists, but I also like the cool toys, right?
Right.
And more importantly than that, I like the relationship with the companies. There's one thing to go, to hit up a company at a show and go, hey, can you send me one of those to review? I want to do a review on that, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's a totally separate thing when you hit it off and you figure out you've got something in common, and that could be any number of things, and you swap phone numbers and you genuinely have a friendship with people at those companies. It's a whole different dynamic, and I like that aspect of it, honestly, even more so probably than getting to play with cool toys.
It is. It's a good feeling when you have a relationship with somebody and they trust you with their with their gear, and it's a really good
it's
feeling.
who you know, and it's not who can be used in a negative way. Who can be used to gain for yourself and selfish and care about nobody else. The who that I like, and why I think it's important to focus on those relationships, building that network and those contacts, is Charlie has a problem. Maybe I don't know the answer, but I can tell you somebody that might know the answer.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be. I mean, maybe you need some help with getting one of your shows done, or whatever the case may be. So,
it is good to know.
It's nice. I've been in the local gun shop before. It's always hilarious that you're in there and you're talking about a specific whatever WYSIWYG it is, right? And that's not the right word. Is it widget? Widget.
Yeah. WYSIWYG is
what you
get.
Programming thing.
What you got is what you get.
Yeah, that's a programming thing. Anyway, whatever widget, and somebody would be like, "Well, I don't know." They'll ask a question, and like, if I'm friends, of course, with the people that work in there and everything else, and they don't know the answer, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't either," but I'll whip out my phone and go, but I can find out probably.
Right. See if I can reach out to.
Fire off a text, and they're like, "Who are you texting?" It's like, "Oh, it's the sales guy, or it's the CEO, or it's the CFO, or it's the marketing guy, or so."
Right.
And they're like, "No kidding." And I'm like,
"Well, yeah,
that's what they're there for, is to answer questions. So
that's
why not?"
Right.
So, you know, there's benefits in a lot of different ways to it.
There are, for sure.
Yeah.
You are, to me, you are a whiz when it comes to the YouTube.
Well, that, man, I take a lot of heat for that. And probably nobody that's watching this right now is going to badmouth, but yeah, I take a lot of heat for that because they see it as me making excuses. I've been told I'm an apologist for YouTube. And that's really not what it is.
Right.
You know, compromise is not a bad thing when it comes to a private company and trying to work out the best situation possible.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to compromising with the federal government, shall not be infringed, right?
Absolutely.
That's a whole different thing. So, you know, it's a private company. We need their platform. It's the second largest search engine in the world. It's the largest video platform in the world. Mm-hmm. And I get it. There's Rumble and there's Odyssey and there's wherever else.
Right, but when people talk about those, they're like, "What's Rumble?" Well, it's like YouTube for conservatives.
It's like YouTube.
Right. It's like YouTube for this. It's like YouTube for that. So.
Well, you don't.
It's people. I mean, people don't say, you know, to a God, what's the word I'm looking for? What do they used to call when you looked on the internet for something before Google?
Oh, Ask Jeeves or a Yahoo search.
Whatever those were back then.
You know what? I'm aggravated. I don't understand this. So, do you use the Chrome browser?
Yes.
Okay. Comment below if this is you. So, my Chrome browser will update and it will automatically switch my default search engine to Yahoo.
Yeah.
Why?
I think what happens is you end up clicking on something because I've gone to, you know, looking for things, Googling things, and it will say, you know, in order to do this, you need to add this search engine to your taskbar.
I don't click on that.
I don't either.
It's after Chrome update. Every time Chrome updates,
I haven't had that.
Because up in the corner, Chrome will turn like orange, the little Chrome emblem. It'll have a down arrow or something, and it'll turn orange, and it'll like turn red. And when it does that, it's like it's ready to be restarted. It's updated, right, or whatever. And the next time you fire it off, it's going to be freaking Yahoo. And I'm like, why is Google, who owns Chrome, allowing Yahoo to take over as the default search engine?
No idea.
And we got off track again.
We totally did.
I don't even remember. We were talking about YouTube. So, yeah. So, since 2017, I've made it a point to more so kind of learn the nuts and bolts and behind the scenes, specifically with YouTube, but social media and platforms in general. And in that pursuit of knowledge, I guess you could say, I was able to meet some people that worked for YouTube, and I was able to then work on some policy things alongside YouTube. Most recently, monetization policy that changed. I think that got tweaked October maybe of last year, so about a year ago. Okay. Which was a monetization thing, kind of loosening the strings, so to speak.
That's good.
You know, redefining it maybe a little better. Yeah. And then currently, not a whole lot of movement, but working on some community things. I actually got, you're talking about me, who kind of knows the ropes and knows the system. Got a community strike and got a video taken down.
Really?
A few weeks ago. Yes, sir.
What'd you do?
I picked up the phone and called my buddies at YouTube.
No. What did you do with it?
But no, I mean, I didn't even do that. So it was a video. So here was the video. Yeah. So it was my youngest daughter, and it was her. She was a 4-H shooting sports, a Texas 4-H shooting sports ambassador.
Oh, cool.
And so in order to apply for that, we had to make a video and then upload it to YouTube so that the people in College Station could check it out, you know, that sort of thing, right? YouTube, right? Largest video platform in the world, so that
keep
they
it
can
unlisted,
see, right?
send them a link.
So, yeah. So anyway, this was before I had the CloverTac channel, but before I did anything serious on it, I forgot the video was there.
Oh my gosh.
So it got tagged for dangerous things involving minors or something. And so I was like, okay, wow. So I kind of started the process going. I kind of knew I knew that basic support wasn't going to help. I knew that some of the other contact methods that you need to go through first, you really do.
Yeah.
I knew they weren't going to help. But I started going through those. And in the process of that, I realized that there was other channels that got videos taken down for the same exact thing.
Really?
So at that point is when I reached out and I said, hey, you know, I know we're supposed to go through proper channels because they can't fix flaws in their support system if they have people circumventing the support system. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a reason that you need to go through that basic support, even though it may not help. And anyway, there goes. So I'm like, look, this is not just me. And I've worked with them before, so they knew I was telling the truth. I'm like, this is not just me. Something went wonky.
Yeah.
You know? So they look into it, and they come back. And I was like the only channel that they did not restore my video. And they're like, you violated. And I'm like, how did I violate? And they're like, the policy, you have to have an adult in the video. It has to be very clear that that child, that kid, under 18, that minor, has adult supervision. And I was holding the camera.
Jeez.
So obviously I wasn't in the video.
Right.
But it's a application for a sanctioned Texas youth shooting sports organization. And she was wearing her organizational shirts while talking about her coaches and all of her training and experience and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Being a leader in Texas 4-H shooting sports. So, but ultimately, it was my bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, ultimately, and I'm like, they explained it to me. We talked through it. And I'm like, okay, I'm guilty. I'm like, that sucks because that video was not even meant for the public. That was done before I ever even started doing gun stuff to speak of. I'm like, that sucks. And they're like, well, okay, tell you what, here's what we'll do. They're like, we'll remove your strike, but we're not going to put the video back up. And I'm like, you know what? I'll take it.
Right.
That's fair. I'll take it.
That is fair. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I obviously didn't mean to break a policy.
Right.
I had a pretty good argument that, you know, I was right, even though I can see how it wasn't.
Right.
So, you know, what do? You take what you can get, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing, and the biggest mistake I think that people make is assuming. And a lot of times they assume because just like us driving up and down the road. Now Charlie is taking it easy in my wife's car. He's not speeding. I haven't seen him speed yet. It's wonderful. But here's the thing. That's true. Yeah. We're in Dallas traffic, so what are you going to do?
Right. So,
you know, you're speeding down the interstate. Speed limit's 75 miles an hour. You're running 90.
75. That's free.
You're running 90. And cars are going around you like you're standing still. We've all been there. We've all been on the interstate. You're running 90, people are running 95, 100 going around you.
Yep.
You get up the road and they pull you over.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Now, when you tell them everybody else is speeding, has that ever gotten you out of a ticket? Does that work?
No.
Let me know if that works. I'd like to know if that's worked for
anybody. Has that worked for anybody?
Because I don't think it does.
I don't think it does.
And so to say that the issues I'm having with YouTube not allowing my videos on the platform or not...
We're banging at you.
Whoa, Huey.
Is it fun?
Or not fully monetizing the video or whatever because so-and-so is doing the same thing or because I have other videos that don't have that problem. They just haven't been caught. Like, that's
what it comes down to. Yeah.
And I see people that make the mistake all the time. They'll blame YouTube. Now, here's the thing. The only thing, I told YouTube this, and they thought it was funny. The only thing consistent about YouTube is the inconsistency.
And when you told them that, how did that go?
They were like, yeah, pretty much, you know. But, I mean, if you look at the size and the scope of the platform, just the infrastructure, how huge it is, most people can't grasp that. And that's when they start comparing Rumble and they start comparing Odyssey. That's where I was going with those platforms earlier. There's nothing wrong with GunStreamer and GunTube and Odyssey and Rumble. And there's nothing wrong with those alternatives. But they are they're a microbial organism in the ocean compared to YouTube, right?
Absolutely.
As far as the infrastructure and everything.
Right.
So, you get into a situation where there's gonna be inconsistency, and so you look at the percentage. So percentage-wise, there's not. But then when it hits you, you're not concerned with the percentage. You're concerned with it happened to you. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
The other thing is, so people are really quick to blame YouTube when something goes sideways, goes wonky. But they don't acknowledge what I was talking about earlier, what they get away with. So YouTube can be wrong in over enforcing a policy,
Right.
but they can't be wrong in under enforcing a policy. And it's a two-way street. You
Right.
can't have it both ways, right?
Yes.
And you can't acknowledge one without acknowledging the other, and that's part of the issue too. Is it's like you're complaining because YouTube got it wrong. Well, maybe they got it wrong on the other one, and this one's right. Maybe you're wrong this go around. That's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
And most of the time, if somebody has an issue and they reach out to me, honestly, I would say probably 80 to 90% of the time, YouTube got it wrong. It was an over enforcement.
Interesting. So I haven't had any issues with Riding Shotgun channel.
Yeah.
But the Gungram channel, I do have monetized. 2015, I think it was. I was able to set up the Google ads. No, what is it? The Google
YouTube Partner Program.
Yeah, whatever
AdSense.
it was.
Yeah.
AdSense. That's what I'm looking for. So I set up the AdSense, and honestly, I would go through YouTube and I'd see it says, "Oh, you made $4.12." Or you got $5.42.
Big money.
All right, and I'm like, this. I don't want to say it's not worth my time, but I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Tell me it's not worth your time without telling me it's not worth your time.
Right. Well, about 4 years later, I was talking to another guy that's a YouTuber. I'm like, dude, I did the Google AdSense, and I can't find out where I can find out how much money's there. Right. So then he told me where to look. I looked into it, and I'm like, YouTube won't send you money unless it's $100.
Yeah, right.
And I want to say I had $641. I'm like, oh, that's great. It's been about 6 years.
Right.
Right. And
nice.
And then I had them send me the money, which was great. And then I can't find where that was. Like I can see how much I make, for the previous 28 days. But I'm like, I don't know where this stuff is.
So what you're saying is you got to call me or email me.
Yeah, we got to work it out.
Figure that out. So here's the thing about AdSense. You need to be thinking about this before you ever monetize or before you ever meet that threshold. And you need to make sure that you walk through your AdSense and get all that set up properly ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen creators, and not necessarily in the gun space, but creators in general, and they will set all that up in a hurry.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember this. I don't remember what email I used. I don't remember where I clicked here. I don't remember this. And then I don't remember what I selected on this. And then the next thing you know, they've got money sitting there, and for whatever reason, they can't get it out. And so when it comes to your money, and that's AdSense, make sure that you keep notes, screenshots, whatever you got to do.
Whatever you got to do, yeah.
To make sure that you can get back into that, the proper ways to navigate it and everything else.
So I did something this past summer, and it's kind of funny. I did it for a funny reason, and I haven't been able to follow through with it. I saw an article over the summer that said there was a Chinese man. Not that it matters that he's Chinese or a man, but it was a Chinese man that was doing math tutoring on Pornhub.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and he had 1 million views. So I was like, I texted a friend of mine. I'm like, there's a guy doing math tutoring on Pornhub. He's got 1 million views. He's got to be making some money. And I said, I wonder, how come Riding Shotgun's not on Pornhub? Huh. And they were back to me like, that is a really good question. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. So I set up an account. Some pop-up came up and it asked if it could have access to my webcam. I'm like, yeah, no. I click on that. I go through the process of verifying my account. One of the things they need to do to verify my account is get a picture of my driver's license to verify that I'm over 18.
Okay.
Right? Because their channel is adults doing naked stuff. They wanted access to my webcam, which I told them no to. And I haven't been able to figure out how to get how to change that.
Well, I wonder if you just upload videos, you wouldn't have a webcam necessarily if you just upload
right.
videos. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. And then my attitude, then this is what I was going to do. This is all the reason why I wanted to do this. So let me use this phrase, and then you can comment. Because every time I tell people, I put a dramatic pause in there, and then that's when people start talking.
Yeah.
But what I was going to do is say, hey, you can get Riding Shotgun on YouTube, on Gunstreamer, and on Pornhub. You're there anyway.
Nah.
And that was going to be little
That's
you know.
funny.
Yeah. But I haven't figured out how to do that. So
Well, you've got OnlyFans now. You can
That's
do that.
right.
Be done with it.
right, I got very attractive feet.
Yeah. Just got down a rabbit hole, man.
Totally.
Speaking of
Feet.
not feet,
Okay. Oof.
not the other stuff,
Right.
but speaking of monetization,
Mm.
did you hear they've changed monetization policy for YouTube? Oh,
I have not. So here's where I was. Early 2021 was a great year for Riding Shotgun. For 7 months, I put out shows twice a month on the second and fourth Tuesdays, because at first I'm like, there's no way I can have more content. There's no way I'm going to be able to put time into doing more content, and having to travel around and interview people. This gets expensive.
Yep.
Right?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Unless
so-
they're actually using their vehicle and their gas. Just saying. But yeah,
I still had to get down to Houston.
usually,
I've been in a hotel for 4 nights, or Dallas here. But yeah, so this is, like my attitude, legit, for the last 2.5 years. Anytime I've had to go someplace, I film a show.
Yeah.
And I've made 2 trips when I haven't filmed a show.
Right.
In the last 2.5 years, and it's taken my daughter to college, visiting in college with her, and my mother's funeral, and like I got a friend that
Other things were happening.
Yeah, like I'm going for something else. I'm going to do a show.
Right.
So what was I thinking? Oh yeah, so I had a great year. Last year was awesome. I drove out to, oh my gosh, I flew down to Florida. I filmed 5 shows in Florida. A day and a half later, I flew to Seattle. I got 5 shows in Seattle. This was really cool. I got 10 shows in 7 days in 2 states on both sides of the country, which was really cool.
Yeah.
It gave me a ton of material. And I'm like, I have 7 months worth of material or 3.5 months worth of material. I'm like, I get the material, I got to put it out. And then once I started putting that out, I ended up going to do a class in Sioux Falls, and I filmed a show in Iowa. And then I filmed 3 shows in Sioux Falls, a show in Nebraska, and a show in Kansas. And then a week and a half after that, I went to Ohio, and I filmed like 2 shows in Ohio.
Wow.
And in the meantime, I went to New Jersey and filmed 2 shows in Jersey. And then I went back to Jersey a couple months later and filmed another couple of shows in Jersey. So I put out shows, getting to the point. I put out 7 months worth of material, doing a show every week, which was cool. And I got to, it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours.
Yes.
I had over 1,000 subscribers, which was awesome. I think the most I had was 3,600 hours. I'm like, awesome. All I need is 400 more hours. And I didn't realize it was 365 day year instead of
calendar year.
You got it. So I'm like, this is great, man. And then I see 36 drops down to 3,500 hours, and I dropped down to 3,400 hours. And I'm like, all right, I can't look at this. And then it just kept dropping and dropping and dropping.
Got to keep cranking it out.
Oh, man.
Hours up, yeah.
Man. It's a lot of work. I've been, so G-Webs.
But we talked about some ways to tweak your channel to help.
We did, and I tweaked them over the summer, and then I need to go back.
You got to keep good content out.
Right.
And that's the thing with you, like, the ROI, or not the ROI, but the cost of you. Like, I can grab a gun, I can go basically out in my backyard and shoot some stuff, and I've got a video.
Right.
It don't work for you. You've got some overhead and some other stuff going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so,
like I said, it's not cheap to fly places and
I
get people in the car.
I get
even if it's their car.
People see YouTube and they're like, oh, free content, free videos. It's like, understand this. Regardless of what you're watching on YouTube, it wasn't free to make.
It was not.
There's not a thing in the world on there that's free to make.
Right.
At the very least, it costs a cell phone bill or an internet subscription or something.
Right.
At the very least.
At the very least. And then there's the time as well. Like the time to put in editing and getting all that stuff together.
Yep.
Yeah,
But and that's where I was going to talk about the new monetization policy. One of the cool things is lowering that threshold, which I mean you should be good then.
Oh God, I hope so.
But lowering the threshold from 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, we think at this point to 2,000 watch hours and 500 subscribers. But that will not give you access to the ads. It will give you access to everything else, which means you can start channel memberships. And people can super chat, super thanks, super sticker, donate.
Interesting.
In other words, you can take part in the fan funding. And that's something I've been arguing with YouTube, honestly, for a long time. I don't understand. I get it. They have to have an advertising department. They have to go seek out people to advertise. They're doing a lot of work to put ads on your video.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
For them to have a little button where somebody can pay you directly, like how difficult is that? Seriously.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
So it makes sense. Lowering those requirements makes sense. And I'm happy to see that, because creating videos for YouTube don't happen for no money. So, you know, being it hopefully at that point, if you can at least get that, you can get
that would be pretty cool.
You can set up some different levels of membership based on, you know, what do you want to do, where you want to go, and who you want to, you know, drive around or however you want to do it, right?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. That's kind of what the goal is. Like, how can I not? My accountant likes to tell me that this is a hobby.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, it's a losing hobby. Most hobbies are, I guess.
Right.
But,
well, so yeah, that's like, I want to go take it from being a hobby to taking it to being some sort of an income generating business where I can make just stay above the water before I start to drown.
Yeah, you know, that's my thing. I mean, if it can cover the expense, like I'm good. But you know, that's why I spent one day at GRPC. I drove 3 hours or so one way. As soon as we're through with this ride, I'm turning around and driving 3 hours back. And you know, I missed AmCon. I missed the first day of GRPC. You know, the summer's rough. Summer is rough for most content creators.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the revenue was low and everything else. So I get it. You know, it's like I still wanted to come here. I still wanted to do the networking. I wanted, you know, wanted to do other things. So you improvise, adapt, and overcome, right? It's like, what can I do? Well, I can go on Sunday and hit the vast majority of people that I want to talk to, and
me
work on things with, and
me too. Yeah.
So
I got to tell you, speaking of money, I think it's nice to see that gas is under $3 down here.
I know, right? I don't know how long it'll stay there. Now, $2.87 over there might be the cheapest I've seen. It's not that cheap back home.
Yeah, it's not that cheap where I'm at either.
That's pretty good.
Currently, the place that I go to for gas mostly is, I think it's like $3.59. So between $3.49 and $3.59.
They say word on the street is that it's going to go back up. You know, this will be driven to SHOT Show, and that's pretty much a 24-hour non-stop straight drive. So, but this thing is pretty good gas mileage. So
that's a lot of driving too.
Hopefully, yeah. I'll often I split it. You drive straight through on the way there.
Oh, that's good.
You've got all the excitement of going to SHOT Show. It's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. The driving home always seems the worst.
Coming home, it's a one-night stop, if not two.
Damn.
I mean, we pushed the envelope pretty good, but yeah.
I think the most I've driven someplace is took my daughter to college from New England down to Nashville. We did it like 17 or 18 hours.
Yeah. Oh, 17 or 18 is nothing. I'll do 17 or 18 by myself. Like NRA will be in Indiana, next year, and I've driven that before one way nonstop by myself.
How long?
So
that's quite.
But I drove the Phoenix. Talking about GRPC in 19.
Yeah.
I drove Phoenix not only there but back nonstop, which was there was some unfortunate events that set me back a few hours going, but it was 30 2 hours or something in the low 30s.
Holy
And then it was, I want to say it was about 24 on the way back.
That's a long time, man.
It's rough. But I mean, if you're, again, it was 3 hours coming up here.
Yeah, 3 hours.
It's an hour if we want to go to a decent restaurant or a movie theater. This is what we call Texas, people.
Everything's big.
So if you're, if you're used to driving that kind of distance just to get a gallon of milk or something, it's like,
right. It is what it is.
Is tripling that or whatever, quadrupling, is that big of an issue?
Yeah.
So, and you gotta like to drive, and you gotta like the whole idea of a road trip and stuff like that. I like that too.
Yeah, I kind of dig it. There's a town. Oh God, there's a town that I teach at. It's called Fitchburg. It's kind of a crappy town, and it's about a 47-mile drive. And I used to tell people that when I was younger, I said when I was younger, I wanted to be a musician, and I wanted to travel around the country, right? Be a traveling musician.
Well, you are a musician.
I am, and I travel.
And you travel, so technically,
right? It's the whole. So what it came down to is, I've learned you have to be specific with your goals.
You wanted groupies. Don't let him lie to you. You think you're nothing about being a musician. He's wanted groupies, and he'll have them. So we're getting there though with the stagecoach. Is there room in the stagecoach for the groupies? That's what we need to know.
Well, so far there's none. So there's plenty of room. Plenty of room.
Okay,
that's what we're getting at.
Cool. We're covered.
So I used to say, you gotta be specific with your goals.
Right.
And then I would say, I've learned I need to be specific with my goals. I wanted to travel for work, but I didn't mean I wanted to drive to Fitchburg. That's what it comes down to. So. So yeah, driving around for riding shotgun, I dig it, man. I think it's pretty cool. Hey, back to the YouTube stuff. G-Webs turned me on to the YouTube Shorts and how easy they are to make.
Yeah, Shorts. So that's another monetization thing that it's been announced. Technically, it's in play.
Yeah.
But look for more rollout, I think, first quarter of next year.
Okay.
Right now, it's really weird. They've got what they call the Shorts Fund. And you really got to put out a lot of shorts and get a lot of views to take part in that. But they got a really weird, I won't get into the minutia of it, but they got a really weird advertising policy.
All right.
Is what I'm saying with shorts. Anyway, shorts are very, very hot right now at the time that we're filming this anyway. That could die out tomorrow. Really I guess, if you're out there and you're thinking, okay, shorts is a good way to maybe grow the channel and everything, I would say be careful.
Okay.
If you're 1,000 subscribers or less, you're not going to do whatever you want. Honestly, do whatever you want if you're 1,000 or less. If you're, let's say, 10,000 to that 1,000 mark, I would say at that point start being careful with shorts. And then when you get above the 10,000 mark, you need to be really strategic with them. And here's why.
All right.
If you start playing with your shorts and you're watching your analytics, it's really good gratification because people watch those views. They want those views, right? Oh man, I got 10,000 views. I got all these views, right? How long does it take to watch a short?
Mine, 15 seconds.
2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah.
So does that really mean that much? So here's the thing. So it's a whole lot of views really quick, and people freak out and they think, oh, it's just awesome, right? Second thing is, it doesn't come as quickly as views, but it still comes, is the subscribers, right? Yeah. People are flipping through. You get a view with that short feed. The button's right there to subscribe. Oh man, they may like that. They clicked it. Well, they're a shorts viewer, odds are. And here's the proof of that. Look at your watch time when that happens. Watch your views increase, watch your subscribers increase, and then your watch time doesn't. Well, what does that tell you? They're not watching your long form content. Right. They're only watching your shorts. So you can pigeonhole yourself into becoming a shorts only channel if you're not strategic and careful. My advice, typically, and that's if you're leaning into long form content, my advice is to use the tool where you can strip a short out of a video existing video, and then use it to promote said existing video, and hope that some people go over there and watch them more and more.
Gotcha. So I've done the shorts with the gungrams. And my attitude with the gungrams is I'm just doing it for funsies. I've got 15,000 subscribers there. But the discouraging part is, even with a regular gungram that's, I don't know, a minute long or something, I get 15,000 subscribers, I'll put it out and get a couple hundred views. And I'm like, all right, so nobody's watching this, whatever.
It's pretty normal, though.
Yeah, so, but the riding shotgun stuff, I will... I'll find some clip, 15 seconds long, and I'll put it out as a short, and hopefully get some people to watch it. What I really feel is, I really feel like it's falsely inflating my numbers, because I'll see that there's more views, and all that kind of stuff. But then I know it doesn't really mean anything, because I know it's just,
it's weird. If you understand it, it's really weird, because you want to have that hit of whatever you call it,
the adrenaline.
Dopamine, adrenaline, whatever it is, like, oh, I got all these views, and then when you really think about it, and that's what's dangerous. That's why, that's why I say, if you're under 1,000, it doesn't matter. Just do whatever, have fun, throw your content, kind of learn your role, and what you want to do with your channel and all that. It's what you're doing anyway, right?
Right.
But as you start to grow and get a little more serious and narrow your focus down on what you want to do, which we talked about at the first of the ride, we kind of talked about that. Be a little more strategic with it, and then you start to realize at that point too, because you've learned, you paid attention to analytics, you see how the trends work and all that kind of stuff. So, it's a little. It's nice to see that you've got more views every month, and then it's hard to get 2,000 hours at 15 seconds a clip. I guarantee you it is. And, right, and how do you get the people that only want to watch 15 seconds at a time to watch the longer stuff to get the...
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
It is.
It's like two different demographics, right? It's this way. So you got people that shoot precision bullseye matches, and you got people that shoot speed steel. Nothing wrong with either one, but being somebody that can cross over between the two sometimes gets difficult.
It is. This is where it becomes a full-time gig, like a full-time work. I set up one night, and I went through gungrams, and I went through riding shotguns, and I'm like, all right, scheduled some posts. Right. I'm like, all right, good. I'm like, when did that end? I need to go back and look at it and find out. I need to find some more clips and put more shorts out and stuff. It's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, totally.
All right, listen, we got to close things up. How can people find CloverTac?
CloverTac.com. Go through the social media carousel there, and whatever platform you use or want to follow on. Most of the videos on, obviously, YouTube.
Yep.
And recently, as far as the podcast go, I'm recently a proud, accepted, whatever you want to call it, member of Firearms Radio Network.
Oh, yes.
FirearmsRadio.net. A lot of cool stuff over there. So
very cool.
Shout out to them guys and stuff, but and gals over there too. But yeah, you can find the podcast anywhere podcasts can be found, pretty much.
So podcasts can be found anywhere. So I put mine on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and then they end up everywhere else.
Yeah, that's the way they work.
I don't know who does that. It's not me.
I think it's Elven Magic. Being part leprechaun, I can't divulge all of the secrets.
Can't give me all the secrets.
But it's Elven Magic is sort of how that works. But yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, cool.
Chris, man, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate this.
Awesome.
We're gonna put links to everything that you were talking about, to all your stuff, and to the guys that you mentioned earlier in the show. We'll put a link for them. Well, the guys you get your guns from, whoever it was, I forget the membership or something.
Oh, Trailblazer. You're talking about Trailblazer Firearms and. Yeah.
Is that a gun store? Or is it a...
Trailblazer Firearms is a manufacturer.
Okay.
Out of North Carolina.
Very cool. We'll put a link for them as well.
Currently a sponsor on the podcast, actually. So there you go.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that works.
Cool.
That works.
All right, listen, thank you guys for watching the show. If you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. If you are not a member of the Second Amendment Foundation, you can join them for $150 for a lifetime membership at saf.org. You can watch all of your favorite pro-freedom podcasts, pro-freedom podcasts at sdrn.us, which is the Self-Defense Radio Network. And please share the show with all of your people. This is how we get the stagecoach across America. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot.